Okay, so it is December 29th, 2020. This video is on high-level sorcery and synchronicities related to Donald Trump, myself, and bands and music that are kind of too much to be coincidences and are kind of like I view them as high-level sorcery. And it's amazing that they were able to synchronize all the things that I'm about to show you. But I'll show you the sorcery behind it, so this way it all makes sense to everybody. And also, on a side topic, I'd just like to discuss what's going on here in Corvallis, Oregon, and what might be going on, most likely, actually, it's definitely going on nationally and globally, is that you have people are getting fried out again by the phone towers, and they are, speaking of which, let me put something over my head to make sure I don't get any electromagnetic waves on me. There we go. People are still getting fried over before the other surge of supposed COVID, or other surge of, like, we'll call it COVID hoax, basically. They're getting brain fried again, such as myself. I got brain fried a bunch lately. And it's also quite sad because it makes me and others, you start to become the cancer of the earth, like the Georgia Guidestones say. The Georgia Guidestones say, be not a cancer of the earth. Well, the brain fry, if you get hit with too much of it, it makes you have leukemia-like symptoms and gives you brain tumors and eventually fries over your organs. And so that's a major problem, of course. So the what they're doing right now is pretty bad. I'm taking a lot of different things to correct it. I got sick from it recently, so that was quite bad and awful. But the first round of COVID that they had in the United States, they brain fried the heck out of me before declaring COVID, basically to make it look more real and to also get me quite sick. And I was literally quite sick. Luckily, I do things to correct it. I advise that people who have these problems, that you can't go to help for any authority because you got no freedom and no ability to say anything or no ability to complain or to sue or be sued type thing. But you can cover up your head with a pot and magnets surrounding it. You need a pot with magnets duct tape on it to sleep with, because that's the best thing to do, and cover your body up with magnets and sheets of metal, baking sheets. That's what I do, actually, when it's hitting intense. And so the thing is, it's starting to have a long-term effect on me, but luckily my body's healing it. But the whole point is that when your body heals, it starts to produce cancer after a while. And so that's the healing process, is the cancer that is produced as a result of the healing process. That's how tumors are formed. Tumors are literally an encasement that try to protect and section off a section of the body, because it's the healing process. It's when the healing process goes into overdrive and it produces cancer. That's the problem, and that's exactly what's going to happen to people with the cell phone towers blasting everybody. Okay, so we're going to get off that topic because we have more important things to discuss. I have more important things to discuss in this video. Okay, so we're going to talk about synchronicities that are just way too much of a coincidence to be a coincidence. They're not coincidences, and instead they are high-level sorcery. So let me show this to you real quickly. Okay, so when I was younger, I used to listen to a band called Two Skinny Jays, and I'm going to scroll up here for a bit. They are from New York City, and they spell their name with a double E at the end. And so Two Skinny Jays, let me actually get one more window going here. Oops. We're going to get one more window going just to make a point here so I can get everything linked up. Trump as Janice picture. Come on. Give me a break. Well, this might be hard to find. Oh, this might be good. Okay, this might be it, kind of. It's just it doesn't give me a picture probably of him, which I really want. Okay, we have him here. Jeez Louise, give me a picture of him. Okay, give me a minute and we'll find. Hopefully, we'll find a picture of him. Oh wait, we're almost there. There we go. Well, that's not him probably. That's Roman god Janus. Okay, we're gonna back up there. Okay, so we're gonna go back with that. Okay, so that's gonna be the one we'll go with. Okay, so we have this band, Two Skinny Jays. Um, so this it relates to Janus and Jambari, Two Skinny Jays. Janus and Jambari, and even though Janus is not spelled like the Roman god Janus, this is related to Janus and Jambari from the book of Exodus and 2 Timothy in the Bible, in which you have Janus and Jambari that are. Let me first put this in here. You have Janus and Jambari that are. Give me 2 seconds. Okay, so Janus and Jambari are featured in the Bible, and they're the two wizards that threw down staffs and that challenged Moses at Pharaoh's court. And they threw down staffs and they turned into snakes. Let me just double check and make sure that Moses' snake, I believe, defeated their snake. Let me just double check. Okay, it doesn't say that here that they defeated the Moses staff, but that doesn't matter right now because what matters are their names. Okay, so these are the wizards that challenge Moses in Pharaoh's court in the book of Exodus. Okay, so it doesn't matter that Janus here is not spelled as the Roman god Janus' name is, but you get the picture. So Janus and Jambres are Donald Trump and Joe Biden, two skinny Jays. They're opposing God. So that's one synchronicity, is that they're both opposing God because they're political heads of state. But they're also, Donald Trump is Janus, as Into the Stars has explained. And as you can see in that this one post here, you see Donald Trump in the Temple of Janus. Donald Trump is Janus because, and we're also getting close to the New Year, by the way, and the Roman god Janus is the New Year god. Long story, but make the long story short. But Donald Trump here is Janus because Donald Trump is two-faced to a certain extent. That he's trying to appease Christians and pagans. He's trying to please both sides of the aisle, and he's a lot like, as Enter the Stars describes, and this is where I'm getting some of this material from, is that Enter the Stars describes him as, like, also as Emperor Justinian. He's trying to, like, make Rome great again. But he's two-faced with it, as Justinian was with in his reign, because Justinian is doing the same thing he's doing. He's trying to please both sides of the aisle. He's trying to please also Democrats and Republicans, but he's also trying to please mostly pagans and Christians. What Trump's trying to do, because Trump has this whole Christian thing going, but Trump is actually works like as any head of state would with the Luciferian. He's Luciferian, but he has this two-faced nature because it's convenient and it works out good, but it makes him Janus, though, is the thing. And so the other thing is that the Trump as Janus is also depicted with the triumphal arches. Trump has some things where he does these triumphal arch things, which Under the Stars covers on his videos here and there. I'm not going to cover that too much because that's his material, and I'm actually disclosing to you some of his material, and so I'm giving him credit. He's the one who disclosed and discovered the whole Trump as Janus thing, and that's where I'm getting this from. And so the triumphal arches also has to do a lot with Trump, and also, I say it has a lot to do with Janus. Janus has to do with these triumphal arches, and these arches are kind of like portals, but portals to where exactly? Portals for basically, demons, to bring in demons. And so Trump is Janus because Trump is Two-Face. And Trump, you can also find it on Two-Faced. You can find some artwork for him, but it's hard to find because I attempted to find it and I could not find it anywhere. Is Trump as Janus in artwork. But Trump is also the man in the mirror in his show. The Apprentice, he sticks his, he has a mirror right next to his main seat in the show The Apprentice, because he is looking into a mirror, and a mirror is always the opposite of what you're looking at. So it's a flipped around image. So he's the man in the mirror. He's looking at, he's Two-Faced God Janus, and Janus also characterized by a key. The Roman god Janus holds a big key, and the key is used symbolically to open, the portal. And Trump had given a key to Benjamin Netanyahu as with an Israeli peace deal that was signed recently, if anyone who's looking at politics will recall. So Trump is Janus. Trump is the Roman god Janus. Okay, so that's where you get this two skinny J's from, and is that Trump is Janus. So two skinny J's is spelled with a double E at the end to signify 55. Double E at the end is 55. And 55 has to do with Trump's tower. Trump Tower is over here. Okay, and so Trump Tower is 58 stories tall, but Trump's and it's also at 57th Street to SO 5G, and this thing also has 5G written all over, and this is also Enter the Stars' material that I'm disclosing to you. It's I'm giving him credit here. So Trump's tower is 58 stories, but the 55th story is technically where his penthouse lies, on the 55th story. And so, but technically it's very awkward in that his that's the wrong thing to do. His penthouse is actually on the 66th story, because it's all in how you number the stories of it. I just gotta find where the oh man, oops, I'll find it. It's all in how you number the stories. Basically, he's on the 66th story penthouse. Okay, here we go. So Trump is actually on the 66th story, but it's the 55th floor because it's all on how you number it. So, and it says here, I'll show it to you, that it will say, see, look, on the door on the 66th floor of my penthouse, right here, 66 floor penthouse. I don't know how to highlight stuff on this thing yet. Well, actually, yeah, see, 66th floor penthouse. Okay, so, but it's on the 55th floor technically, which has to do with 66 has to do with let me just double check and make sure I can get the 55 thing going for you too, so this way you know what I'm talking about and you know that I'm right. Well, you see how it could be, it is on the 60, I'm right because it's on the 55th floor, because that the building does not even go up to 66, even though it says here it's on the 66th floor. And the reason why they had it on the 66th floor is to show 666, because 6 times 6 is 36, which has to do with the mark of the beast. Okay, so you can Google it for yourself too, and I might have trouble finding it, but it's on the 55th floor, and the 55th floor has to do with two skinny J's. Let me just go back to the Trump Tower thing again to see if I can show to you that it is on the 55th floor. That's Trump Tower. Okay. Okay, so you have to take my word on it instead that yes, it says it's on the 66th floor, but it's actually the 55th floor for his penthouse. Okay, so 55 has to do with Y2. That's exactly why two skinny J's. We'll get their name going up here again. Oh, come on. There we go. Y2 skinny J's is spelled with a double E at the end for 55, for the 55th story of Trump penthouse. Okay, so so one way of looking at it is that they're conducting high-level sorcery here, and they're predicting the future, basically, and they're wrapping Trump into this, and they're also wrapping me And I'll show you in a moment how they're wrapping me into it. Oh, the other way in which they're wrapping Trump is that two skinny Jays, when they perform sometimes, they will dress up as Supermen. Okay, so Trump has recently quoted as saying, let's find him. We'll find him right down here. He's recently quoted as, saying, I feel like Superman after taking the COVID-19 treatments. And two skinny Jays, you have to take my word on as well, because they used to dress up as Superman. The reason why you have to take my word on it that they used to dress up as Superman is because all of their their band was around before people had a lot of smartphones, and so you can't find too many photos of them. The photos I did find of them, you cannot find them dressed up as Superman. But when they performed at Ag Field Day at Rutgers Fest in the year 2000, they dressed up as Superman, and they frequently do dress up as Superman. They wear like Superman with S on his chest, S for two skinny J's, and they have the Superman theme going, and that's another synchronicity that is linking Trump to this band. This band's also from New York. Trump has a big presence in New York. And so the sorcerers in New York, they all collude together, and they work together, and they got, they produced an album that predicts the future quite accurately, and you're seeing that here. And so I'll show you another synchronicity that is way too difficult to just do. I mean, you could use predictive software to do this, but the more reasonable explanation of how they would do this synchronicity that I'm about to show you is they would have to probably use a demon and use different forms of sorcery, such as death magic and other forms of sorcery to predict the future with. And now this is very interesting. Now the album is from 1998, so this is their first album, their premiere album. So they knew back in 1998 that Trump was going to get elected. And they actually knew way before that even that Trump was going to get elected and win the presidency. But this album's called Super Mercado, okay? This is from 1998. It's one of their, main albums. It's their first debut album, okay? So let's see that because I know it's their first debut album. I don't have to prove that, but so Super Mercado is supermarket in Spanish, okay? Now, Trump was elected to the presidency. He won it on November 8th, 2016. So let me just show that to you real quickly. He won it on December 8th, 2016. Let me find it for you. This might be it. Okay, here we go. Okay, so Donald Trump was elected on November 8th, 2016. And you also have an 88 worked into there, which has to do with time travel as well. That's a time travel number. It's a long story. You'll have to check End of the Stars video on how that relates to time travel. Well, I can tell you briefly, it has to do mostly with the veil being weak on days that are linked to the 88th day of the year, or you count down 88 days until the end of the year, and you basically get sorcery done through that. And 88th, usually when you're at the 5th of November or anywhere near the 5th of November, you have the veil being weak. This is why Halloween falls a little bit before then, being Samhain, because the veil is supposedly weak then, as sorcerers who are in the know understand that the veil is weakest then, and so sorcery is conducted then because the veil is weak between this world and hell, basically. So they conduct sorcery then. And so this November 8th thing is near that date, near the date when the veil is very weak, okay? And it's also, let me highlight that, it's also near the, this is why the 5th of November is in V for Vendetta, and why it's it's hard to highlight there for a moment, why it's in videos such as that, or why it's in movies such as that, and why it's highlighted in that event that happened with Parliament in England, with the explosion of Parliament. And notice how it's also a death magic ritual then, because, I'm sure some people died in that explosion when they blew up Parliament. So this has to do with, death magic and with the veil being weak. And here's an 88 in his election date. Most presidents are, when they go to get elected, it's in, within November, And so anyway, so he was elected in 2016. Now the big synchronicity is that Super Mercado means supermarket, okay? And Trump was elected in 2016. Now this links me into it because I started working at a supermarket in 2016 at Market of Choice in Bend, Oregon. And that is a synchronicity that is very difficult to synchronize with all of this. And it's all roped in. And then I'll show you a little bit more of how it's all roped in. And I still work at a supermarket. I work at a Fred Meyer, and I started working at Fred Meyer in 2018. So 2016 was actually the start of me working at a supermarket. It's a legit supermarket. Fred Meyer is actually retail and supermarket, but the store that I did work at was just straight supermarket. And I started working there in 2016 when he was elected. And so you see that fits in with, this whole album here, which is Super Mercado, so it's kind of all ropes in. It has to do with Trump with two skinny J's. It has to do with the album being named Super Mercado. And then the other synchronicity is the fact that I've been learning Spanish on and off here and there, mostly this year, but also quite a bit in the past. And I was learning Spanish a bit before 2016. And Supermercado is Spanish for supermarket. So that's another big time synchronicity. And this is predicting the future in a way that is very difficult to do unless you have to link all these things together and have them all be players on the stage and all linked together through synchronicities is very, very difficult to do. So this is too much of a synchronicity to just be like, oh yeah, this is no big deal. These are just synchronicities. They're not synchronicities. These are this is making use of demons to predict the future with, which is something that I'm actually very good at doing, believe it or not. I'm trying to think if there's anything else to show you here. The other thing is that since he's Janus and since they're Janus and Jamboree, there's a possibility that it's showing you that basically Biden's not going to be much more different than Trump, in that both of them are going to be opposed to the Most High. Let me just see if we have any good Bible passages here. Yeah, here we go. It shows you what's going to happen here in 2 Timothy 3-8. Just as Janus and Jambres opposed Moses, so also these teachers oppose the truth. They are men of depraved minds who, as far as their faith is concerned, are rejected. Anyway, so that's kind of where things are going, and this is just a quick video to show you how in-depth the sorcery is. And the people who write for musicians commonly do not write their own music at all. It's pretty much a well-known fact at this point. They usually don't write any of their own songs. Sometimes they do, but for the most part they don't. And so they have writers that write them, and the writers of Hollywood and of the music industry are in the know, and they have the hidden knowledge, and they are very good apparently at synchronizing. I mean, you got to hand it to them. To do this, it's very difficult to synchronize all these different people and all of these different events into one little package, and so it's very interesting. And I've been taking a look at Two Skinny J's other albums and seeing if they have any other salient details on them that would stand out. And so we'll see. I found one thing linking it to Copper, and that's a big deal. One of their albums on Volumizer, but I haven't found too much more else. And so we'll have to see what happens with that and how far I get with that. So I'm going to cut this video off here, and I will upload it. Have a good day and have a happy new year, all right?